Okay, Scorpio. Let me show you the layout here. In the Thoth deck they have a triangle, magical triangle layout, so that's what I'm using for the readings. And here the first three cards are the current situation. That's how the situation transforms and evolves, and the last card is the final outcome. So, I have a lot of pentacles, and we'll get to these ones here. On the bottom we have already shuffled. They cut the cards, all that. So, 9 of Pentacles is on the bottom. So, and this card, it literally says in the booklet, Emerald Radiance. So, she's playing this piano that's constructed out of the vines. She's twisted it and everything to create this piano, and she's playing her music, radiating this healing, these healing sounds out into the cosmos, out into infinity. So, the 9 of Pentacles is like being in a place of where you've come into abundance, and maybe it's new, and so you're trying to get used to that. Being confident in your talents. Sometimes with great success can come a lot of, with it can come a lot of responsibility. Okay, and people depending on you, family, employers, employees, and so forth. But it's like coming into this confidence of this success, of like you recognize the material gain and abundance that you have, but now you need to go forth with confidence, knowing that you've worked, you've strived, and been through a lot to get to this point. So it's about having the confidence in the level of success where you are right now in your life, because sometimes we can amaze ourselves. And so, also with the 9 of Pentacles, quickly, understanding and appreciating the wealth that one already possesses. And with the snail shell and everything, it depicts the golden mean, or the golden ratio, or the Fibonacci, whatever you want to call it. So she's playing her piano, she's very in tune with the spiritual aspect of the tangible world. So, as above, so below. So she brings forth the spirit into the material world through her talents, which bring her much success. And there was something that stood out to me. Well, she smiles and basks in the warmth and the emerald radiance. So it's the spiritual connection that your everyday life has. So the tangible 3D world, you're seeing the spiritual aspects of not just that it pays the bills or whatever, but it's bringing forth a sense of confidence, contentment, so some emotional fulfillment, spiritual fulfillment through the tangible physical 3D plane. And crowning, we have the Knight of Pentacles, so this is the current situation, and then the Hermit, and then the 5 of Swords. So the Knight of Pentacles can be like the slowest moving knight, but he's also each step that he takes, he's very confident and sure-footed, because it's Pentacles, so it's tangible, it's like the rational mind, okay, but in connection with nature, so there's this spiritual aspect to it. It's not just swords where it's just the rational mind, just thought, and it's not the cups where it may be just emotion and it's not being balanced by the mind as well, or with the mind as well. So so with the 9 of Pentacles and the Knight, it might seem like it's taking you a long time to get to this point, or it has taken you a long time and a lot of work, a lot of making good decisions, taking your time and making decisions that are smart. I'm using good judgment. So, um, and with the hermit, going within, separating from the world a little bit and pulling your jets a little bit and just going within and seeing where you are right now, how you've gotten to that point, um, where you're going, and the hermit does that work and comes back out and helps to light the way for others and helps to guide others um, through that process, and just by being a good example of proof that that process works. And so the hermit comes out and says, "You can do it. I know you can because I've done it, and so can you." Because the hermit's no special person; he's just a human like everyone else. Um, Beautiful divine human, not just a human. So, but then there's this Five of Swords, and these are the black swans and the dark angel, and some kind of conflict of interest, maybe perhaps having to do with the spiritual, and maybe you didn't know that there could be a connection between the material, tangible plane and nature and everything, and this connection between the natural world and the spiritual world. So maybe you're rethinking a little bit of how you perceive yourself and the world and everything up until that point, and maybe you've had things compartmentalized and separate, so there was conflicts of interest, just like God versus science or whatever. But now maybe you're becoming aware, perhaps now you're becoming aware of the fact that all things are connected, that there is a unifier between everything, all of creation as a unifying factor. And I mean, traditionally typically it can represent just conflict, and it's swords. So, a battle of the wills, battle of the mind. It can be outward, like interference energies, trying to get to the dark swans and the dark angels. So it's, but it's a dark angel, so there is this aspect of like facing your shadow self, and this is the Shadowscapes deck, but facing the darkness in order to gain clarity and a better perspective, broad spectrum perspective, if you will. So it's not necessarily, I mean, things can be difficult, but it's like growing pains, it doesn't feel good, to think about this stuff or having to process it, but obstacles are opportunities for growth. So wherever there's conflict, process the fear, the anger, whatever, try to not be inappropriate, but don't let things get bottled up. But then, once you've kind of come out of that conflict and calm down a little bit or whatever, you can see how you did gain some insight. You did grow. If not for that experience, a lot of times hardships are the things we want to get over. So by doing that, we gain success. We grow. We learn. And the Knight of Pentacles, he keeps going forward because he sees that Nine of Pentacles. He wants that. So even if he has hurdles, he's gonna get there. Even if he's the last one to make it, he's determined. The Knight of Pentacles is very determined to co-create, manifest on the material plane. And then how the situation transforms, we have the Moon, and then the Six of Pentacles. So the Moon can have a bit of, and it kind of goes with the Five of Swords, like when we're in the midst of conflict, maybe we can't see how, this is a beautiful lesson in disguise, just remember that, and light and love, right? But when we're going through it, it's, it's pissing us off or whatever, right? But, so, the Moon can kind of have that sort of thing too, where we don't really want to face the things that maybe aren't as clear, they're obscured, they're muddled, a little cloudy. It's hard to kind of put your finger on it because it's a little confusing. It's not like the sun shining on it. It's the reflective sun, so it has the energy of the moon. And That could be the divine feminine and creativity, but dreams, intuition as well. Just seeing things clearly. Again, clarity. So maybe not in the moment when you're emotional. It's kind of hard for us to do that. Yes, we're human. We have this emotional center, the amygdala, and we have to process. That's the first filter where everything goes. When all the information goes up the spinal, up to the spinal cord, it goes into the brain. It goes to the amygdala first, and that's the emotional center. So we are emotional beings. We're sentient beings. So we feel first, okay? But then, the moon, the swords, then, we can kind of take a look at what this uncomfortable stuff and figure out how we can incorporate it into our lives in order to have it be something that's positive, that propels us forward, helps us learn, grow, gain more knowledge, wisdom, understanding, compassion, for ourselves too, not just for other people. We need to remember that we need to be patient and understanding, loving, forgiving, and having mercy on ourselves. And that doesn't mean just go out and do whatever you want. I mean, because then you're just going to keep going through that cycle, right? So with the Knight of Pentacles and with the Nine, it seems like you're doing that work. You're aware, of this process, perhaps through trial and error or research or watching other people and learning from them or whatever it is. Just being a human being, you're starting to learn this process, and that things are always going to come up, no matter what. Good and bad things are going to come your way. But just having a clear perspective, even if it's a lot of great stuff like the Nine of Pentacles, you still have to work on confidence and feeling comfortable at this level of success too. So there's good and bad in every situation, no matter what it looks like on the surface, the superficial level. Everything has facets, dark and light, so positive and negative. And then you have the Six of Pentacles, so that's how ultimately it transforms. The situation ultimately is a transformation back to it's kind of like the Hermit, where he goes into solitude, comes out, and then he helps guide others. So you've done a lot of work to progress towards success, and it's Pentacles, so on the material plane, and this is also the Six of Pentacles. So reciprocating this, and giving back now. The world, natural spiritual law, has supported you and elevated you to a certain point, on this little cliffside, and now it's like this waterfall of coins and this golden, mist that's showering down onto this little seedling right here and helping it to grow. So it's very much in line with the Hermit, having to get over your own struggles now, and now you have a template to help others. And then this is like, the Hermit gives back spiritually, and the Six of Pentacles is the giving back of the tangible material world. Okay, so the tangibility of spirituality. Okay, and then ultimately, how it ends up is the Four of Pentacles. So the dragon here is like wrapped all around his little Four of Pentacles, and he's guarding them close and tight and protecting them in this little nest, and doesn't want any interference to get within the danger zone, if you will. The danger zone. So, and we can kind of be like a dragon when we're protecting something, our family, our wealth. And you've worked hard, or are working hard towards this goal of achieving a certain level of success, tangible spirituality. And so you want to protect that. When you're a kid and you're just given stuff, we don't really understand the value of it. When we have to start working to buy our own toothpaste, toilet paper, every little thing, we start, so as an adult, we hopefully, that's part of growing up and maturing, is learning the value of hard work. So when you do get results of this co-creation in the material plane, working with spirit to have, material gain, you want to protect it. And that's just the natural progression. So it makes sense that it all goes like that. And the end result after giving back is you protecting that, because you want to maintain your success, but you also want to give back. So you don't want to over reciprocate to the point where you've created conflict for yourself, okay? But if you give back in a way that you stay balanced and also do what you want to do as far as helping and giving back, reciprocating, you don't have to feel so protective and possessive, okay? But you do have to have a little element of that, just in the back of your mind, reminding you that keep things balanced, make sure people aren't taking advantage of you or vampiring you, and that you're not giving too much of yourself to where you're depleted, because just in case you don't have someone to reciprocate back to you, you got to self-reciprocate. It's important to not deplete yourself if you don't have a physical, tangible support system, and you kind of have to be your own support system, which is what the Hermit does. And the Knight of Pentacles is pretty independent too. I mean, he's riding his some kind of denizen. I don't know what kind of creature that is, but very independent, confident, moving forward towards a very lofty goal, the Knight of Pentacles, but it is attainable, and dreaming big, it's a beautiful thing, and then you see it manifest, and it's almost unbelievable. So it's like that Nine of Pentacles. Remember, you're worthy of that Nine of Pentacles. You've done a lot of hard work to earn that Nine of Pentacles. You deserve that Nine of Pentacles. And it's not an ego thing. It's a balanced confidence of looking behind you and seeing all the work that you've done and where it's brought you. So obviously, you did the right thing, and now you want to protect that and give back, because when you're at a certain level, you feel so good and so abundant that you just want everyone to feel that way. So that could be the situation where you're at, or where you're going, what you're moving towards. So it's evolving towards that if you're not there at the Nine of Pentacles already. And so if you are at the Nine of Pentacles, though, now it's another step of being confident that you deserve that, okay? And you've worked hard. So and how to reciprocate and give back without depleting yourself. Lots of pentacles for you. So Scorpions, I think they got some pentacle stuff maybe last month, so there might be some business stuff going on with the Scorpions that has to do with bringing the spiritual realm into your life. So having that financial abundance and then giving back and reciprocating is going to be very fulfilling for you. And it doesn't mean you got to go volunteer it and whatever. I mean, maybe it's just a simple thing that now you have the money to buy your immediate family gifts on their birthday. Maybe you guys live all different places, and so now you have money to, send them a gift on their birthday, and whereas maybe you didn't have that before. So it could just be something as small as that, but it feels big because it shows improvement and progression. So, alright, all Scorpios, happy August. I will see you next time. Love you all, and blessings to you all.